Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and today we're talking about episode 2 of season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead, titled Booth 3. And this is just another really fun episode. Basically what you've come to expect from this show, not a whole lot new, but just a lot of fun. You do get a little bit more plot progression, you kind of find out more of what Ruby is trying to do, and what her goal is, basically. So you do get a little bit more plot progression. And also the episode caps off with a wonderful sequence and a very memorable one. Just a great set piece. It just all comes together for a really solid and really fun episode. This episode just right off the bat begins in an insane way with Ruby giving birth to a deadite baby in the most ridiculous way. She's driving this car in the rain and all of a sudden the baby just starts popping out. She crashes and this couple, this hitchhiking couple, go to see what's up. And the boyfriend character, opens up the door, and you just see Ruby lying there with her, chest ripped open and, guts hanging out. And he sees an umbilical cord that reaches into the back seats. And he goes to the back, opens up the door, and there's a baby in there. A newly born baby. And, he picks it up, and the baby's just waking up. And he's like, oh, wow, it's a baby. Just looks back at it. It's a demon baby. He starts biting his neck and just ripping it apart. And then Ruby wakes up and walks. She bites the umbilical cord out first. Then she walks out, picks up her baby, and then just steps on the dude's head, and that's the opening stinger. Jesus! That's just an insane way to open an episode. I love that entire scene. It was just great. It was insane, over the top, gory, just love it. And then we cut to our main heroes. And you see that Brandy, she's still trying to recover from what happened. And you see, Ash trying to be a father. Just hey, if you want to just sleep in, you don't have to go to school, it's totally cool, it's great. And she ends up going to school instead. Which leads to a really awkward scene between Ash and Brandy in the car, where he tries to have a down-to-earth talk and, mentions her mom. In typical Ash terms, instead of just being a heartwarming moment, he tells her a story about how they were having sex in the back seats of the same car he's driving in now, and she threw up all over the counter, and then went back for round 2. Typical Ash fashion. Just great scene, I love that. Before that, though, I'm kind of going out of order. Sorry about that. You do have a scene inside Ash's house, and Pablo's talking to Kelly, and he's a little skeptical on the Dalton character, and, his whole Knights of Samaria thing, where he's like, why haven't we heard of this guy before? Do we trust this? Do we know exactly what's going on? Do we trust this guy? But I also think part of it is just him being jealous that Kelly is, hanging out with this other guy, because, he has feelings with Kelly. You can tell part of that is there, but he also just doesn't trust them, because you never know. You can't really trust anybody, basically. And then Dalton tells us whole backstory about his ancestors, and how one of his ancestors found the book and tried to read spells out of it, and that she got sucked into the book. And it was some really interesting backstory, actually, and saying that that person's soul can only be saved by the prophesized one, Ash. So there's some interesting backstory, and I always like that stuff when they add some backstory to the Necronomicon, add a little more history to it. I always like that stuff, adding to the mythology, basically. I always find that stuff cool, so that was cool to sequence. It was actually a well-done sequence. And then Brandy gets to school, and she goes to talk to her counselor, who is Ruby. So you kind of start to figure out what Ruby's plan is. I mean, she doesn't really need help right now to turn Brandy against Ash, since he already is against her, but you can tell that that's what Ruby's trying to do, is just to keep them apart and to break them and basically destroy them in the process. And then you get the scene with Pablo in the trailer, which is another weird-ass scene. So he's in there, and his scars, the tattoos of the Book of the Dead, which are kind of scars, kind of tattoos, whatever you want to call them, are getting worse and getting a lot more painful. And then all of a sudden this naked girl in a weird mask shows up, and the lady basically just tells him that you need the Brujo to help you get rid of this evil. And that's all the person really says and really able to get into until Kelly comes in and interrupts it. And then Dalton comes in, notices the tattoos, and is like, yeah, that guy's marked with evil. There's something wrong with him. We have to either kill him or do something. And Kelly's all like, it's Pablo. He'll be fine. She's probably just thinking, yeah, all the stuff he went through the last season, yeah, he'll be fine. So there's something going on there, some kind of conflicts with stuff. And then we get to the centerpiece of the episode. Because Ash basically realizes that the Deadite in the last episode said that, well, you and your like, offspring need to die. So he realizes, oh, they're going after Brandy. And then Kelly makes the comment of, oh, how many other like little Ashes are out there? He goes, oh, crap. And he runs over to the sperm bank, which he has apparently donated to a lot in the past. And he goes there to get information to see if anybody has, used his sperm to get a baby and all that kind of stuff. And he bribes the clerk up front with a 20% off coupon to his store, to which she makes it like, oh, make it 30. And that's what convinces her. Even though she's like, yeah, we can't do this. This is breaking the law. And he's like, oh, 20% off gift card, make it 30. All right, and there you go. And then while she is looking at the information, he's like, you know what? Might as well donate a little. And so, he takes the porno magazine, goes into booth 3, hence the title, and the evil meets up with him there, and we get to the centerpiece of the episode. This is basically this season's morgue scene, like how last season had the scene in the morgue. Not nearly as great as that, because this scene is mostly like really fun because of the setting. Whereas the morgue scene, it's not fun because it's in a morgue, it's fun because of the dead body and him going inside it. But it's still a hilarious scene, and will probably by the end of the season be one of the highlights of the entire season. Because he's looking at the porno magazine. This is the best part, the most unique and clever part about it, is that the lady inside the magazine comes to life, and her arm bursts through the magazine, starts choking him. So he's basically fighting a porno magazine, which is hilarious. And then he ends up fighting off one of the nurses or whatever who work in the clinic, who starts shooting sperm at him, basically. And it's just this hilarious scene, all set to Take On Me, which is just, oh my god, now whenever I hear that song, I'm just going to think of Ash in a sperm bank with sperm being shot at him. I can never think of anything else now when I hear that song. And I just find it so funny how, after 3 movies and 2 seasons, it's still fun to watch Ash fight off Deadites. I don't know what it is. That has not gotten old at all. That is still entertaining as hell, and it just makes me smile the entire time. And that scene was great, and it also has some clever things. I think that's also why it is still great to watch him fight off these Deadites, because he always finds something clever and new with each new sequence. This one, like I said, had the arm coming through the magazine and fighting him off. And then this also has the moment where he freezes the nurse Deadite, and then crushes her head with the tank. That was great. That was a great moment. And that entire scene was hilarious and awesome. Like I said, still had some fun and unique things thrown in there. And like I said, it's not as amazing or as insane as the morgue scene in season 2, but it's right under there. It's almost there. It's still a great scene. So the follow-up scene to that has Ash going back to Pablo and Kelly, and basically, he realizes that evil is after his offspring, essentially. They destroyed all of his sperm in the sperm bank, and so they're probably after Brandy. And there's this one moment that I really like, where Ash is from now on, Brandy is our #1 thing. We have to keep her safe. And I did like that it was the one moment where Ash was actually being serious. Sure, it led to a joke, where he's just, I may suck balls as a father, but I don't want to lose this. Brandy. And my balls. But there's still so there's a joke there, but he seemed very serious. And I kind of like that. There's even a couple little moments at the beginning of the episode where Brandy's just I want my mom back, and he's just well, that's the one thing I can't pull out of my ass. And he seemed kind of genuine about it. And I do like the moments where Ash is genuine, because sometimes he comes off as more a one-note kind of idiot type of character. So it's nice to have these occasional serious moments that make him feel a little bit more developed. Then we find out why evil is after his offspring, because we cut to Ruby coming home. And in her home, you have the one girl from the opening of the episode, the hitchhiker, just chained up, and her baby's in this crib, and Ruby is just feeding her body parts from the guy, the boyfriend hitchhiker. She takes goes through a pile of his limbs and stuff, and picks up his arm and throws it in there, and it's just screwed up. And then she feels that since the baby was born from the book, when that scene in the first episode when she cut her hand and everything and wiped it on the book, that means that the baby is next in line to be the prophesized one. So once she gets the prophesized one's offspring to murder him and get Ash and Brandy out of the picture, now her kid can become the new prophesized one. That's her plan. And it's okay, that's starting to make sense, and that's why she's, acting as Brandy's counselor, and it all kind of is coming together. It makes sense what her initial plan is. And I like that scene too. That scene was just screwed up. I like the opening shot when she walks in and you see the little thing hanging above the baby's crib, and it's just like all made of like fingers and like ears and like limbs and stuff. Like I thought that was a really cool image, and that scene was just crazy. I like that scene a lot. So overall, this was a really fun episode. Just keeping in line with how the show's been going. Like nothing too insane except for the one set piece in the sperm bank, which is a definite highlight. But you know, we do get a couple things revealed more. You kind of understand like what characters' motivations are. You do get, you know, that something's going to happen with Pablo with that one weird scene in the trailer. So things are kind of moving forward, starting to gain momentum. I really liked it. If I have to say one flaw, like I'm going to move past this, but I'm going to mention one kind of flaw, which is the timeline thing, which I know if you watched the last video, I already kind of complained about that, and I'm going to move on from it. But there's a couple of things that kind of irked me a little bit in this one. So basically, yeah, the timeline didn't change at all, because they mentioned that Cheryl is dead, and basically imply that she died in the cabin, like in the original Evil Dead, which she didn't, because they stopped evil before they went to the cabin, so Cheryl wouldn't have died from that. And then later on, when Ash is trying to bribe the clerk to let him in, to get information, basically, he says, like, come on, you know, I'm the hero of Elk Grove. And I'm like, what is he the hero of? Like, what did he do? Like, he vanquished evil in the 80s in a cabin, like, far away from Elk Grove. How's that make him the hero? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, just some of it just doesn't add up. But you know what? That aside, awesome episode. Those are my only real flaws. I liked everything else I saw. Still has the great, like, witty dialogue, great lines, and just fun moments that just makes this show awesome. It just makes me love it every week. And yeah, that's episode 2 of season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. And that's about it for now. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.